Could this be a penny worth a fortune? You heard that right. Your pocket change could be hiding a 2009 Abraham Lincoln penny worth millions of dollars. Stick around, and I'll tell you exactly what to look for and how to cash in big. Hi there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Welcome to today's video, where we're diving into the world of rare pennies, specifically the 2009 Abraham Lincoln pennies. These coins might just make you a millionaire. But not every 2009 penny is worth a fortune, so let's break it all down. First, a little history. The year 2009 marked the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent. To celebrate, the U.S. Mint released 4 unique reverse designs depicting different stages of Lincoln's life: birth and early childhood in Kentucky, formative years in Indiana, professional life in Illinois, presidency in Washington, D.C. These designs are stunning and tell the story of one of America's greatest leaders. But why are some of these pennies so valuable? It all comes down to rarity and errors. Let me explain. The 2009 pennies were produced in lower numbers than usual due to the economic downturn, making them harder to find today. Look for pennies with the S mint mark from San Francisco. These are proof coins and are worth more, especially in pristine condition. Rare errors and varieties. Coins with minting errors are where the real money is. Errors include double dies, off-center strikes, and die cracks. Take a closer look at your 2009 penny. A highly sought-after variety is the double die reverse on the formative years design. This error shows extra fingers on Lincoln's hand holding the book. A coin like this could fetch thousands at auction. Incredibly, some of these 2009 pennies have sold for hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, depending on their rarity, condition, and demand. Just imagine turning a single penny into a life-changing payday. Check your pocket change and coin jars. You never know what might be hiding there. Use a magnifying glass or a coin microscope to inspect details. Keep your coins in good condition by storing them in protective cases. If you think you've found a rare penny, get it graded by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. And remember, condition is everything. Coins in mint state or proof condition are far more valuable than worn ones. Now it's your turn to go on a treasure hunt. Who knows? That little penny in your hand could be worth millions. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the world of rare coins. Let me know in the comments if you've ever found a valuable penny or have one you think might be rare. I'd love to hear your story. We're diving into a penny that could make you a millionaire. Yes, you heard that right, a millionaire. We're talking about the 1970 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a little copper coin with a current market value of $1.1 million. Yeah, that's 6 zeros for a penny you might have spent on gum once. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be running to grab your piggy bank. Alright, let's talk about this magical penny. What makes it worth more than a mansion? It all boils down to a minting error, aka the holy grail for coin collectors. The 1970 penny has a unique doubling on the date, which means the numbers look like they've been printed twice, slightly offset. This little hiccup is what we call a double die error, and it's rarer than finding Wi-Fi in the middle of a forest. Now, here's where it gets juicy. Only a handful of these pennies were made, which means if you've got one, you're basically holding the golden ticket of the coin world. And don't just take my word for it. Back in 2019, one of these pennies sold for $1.1 million at auction. That's more than some Ferraris cost. Quick side note. This reminds me of a time I found an old penny while cleaning out my car. My heart skipped a beat thinking it could be valuable. Turns out it was just sticky from some mystery soda spill. But hey, you win some, you lose some, right? Moral of the story. Always check your pennies, even the sticky ones. But let's get back to the 1970 penny. How can you tell if you have one? Grab a magnifying glass, or even better, zoom in with your phone, and take a close look at the date. If you see doubling on the numbers, don't spend that penny on a vending machine snack. Get it appraised. A local coin shop or professional grading service can confirm if you've hit the jackpot. And here's a fun fact. Even if your 1970 penny isn't the rare double die version, it could still fetch a pretty penny, pun intended, if it's in pristine condition. High-grade pennies from this year have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So, Every 1970D is worth a second look. Alright, folks, it's time to wrap this up. The next time you're fishing for quarters in the couch cushions or emptying out your coin jar, remember, one of those little guys could be worth $1 million. Who knew pennies could literally make you sensationally rich? Before you go, here's the deal. If you found this video helpful or even just entertaining, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons more tips, tricks, and wild stories about coins that could change your life. You don't want to miss out on the next treasure hunt, do you? We're talking about a seemingly humble coin. A 1976 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny that could be worth up to $1.20 million. That's not a typo. So, if you've been tossing pennies into a jar, or worse, leaving them on the sidewalk, this video might just change your life. Now, before you run off to dump your piggy bank, sit tight because I'm going to walk you through exactly what makes this coin so special, how to spot one, and why collectors are practically tripping over themselves to get their hands on it. And stick around till the end because I've got a funny story about the time I almost threw away a valuable coin myself. Spoiler alert. It's embarrassing, not so. What's the deal with the 1976 D Lincoln penny? First, let's break it down. The D mint mark means this penny was minted in Denver. You'll find that little D right below the year on the coin. But not all 1976 D pennies are million-dollar coins. This is where things get interesting. The one we're talking about is made of copper and zinc but has a very specific error, a double die. That means during the minting process, the coin was struck twice by the die, creating a slight but noticeable doubling effect on parts of the design, usually the text or Lincoln's profile. If you have one of these pennies, collectors will basically start throwing cash at you like you're a superstar at an auction. Now, here's the kicker. These pennies are rare, but they're not impossible to find. They could be hiding in plain sight, stuck in a drawer, forgotten in a coin jar, or maybe jingling around in your car cup holder. And that's exactly what makes it exciting. You're at the grocery store. The cashier hands you some change, and there it is, a 1976 D penny. You don't even notice because, let's be honest, when was the last time anyone paid attention to pennies? But if you knew what to look for, you'd realize you were just handed a piece of history worth over $1 million. How's that for a plot twist? Speaking of plot twists, let me share a quick personal story. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my junk drawer. You know, that magical place where rubber bands, batteries, and takeout menus go to die. Anyway, I found a handful of old coins and thought, just pennies. I almost threw them out, but decided to Google one out of curiosity. Turns out, it wasn't $1 million penny, but it was worth $50. Not bad for something I almost tossed in the trash, right? Lesson learned. Always check your change. Back to the 1976 D penny. If you think you've got one, don't just shove it in your wallet and call it a day. You'll need to have it authenticated by a professional coin grading service. They'll examine it, certify it, and assign it a grade based on its condition. The better the condition, the higher the value. And fun fact, the highest selling 1976 D penny in recent years was sold for, you guessed it, $1.2 million. That's enough to buy a house, a fancy car, or, a lifetime supply of pizza. Whatever floats your boat. So, there you have it, the 1976 D Lincoln penny. Small, unassuming, but potentially life-changing. Who knew a penny could pack such a punch? If this video has inspired you to go digging through your couch cushions or that neglected jar of coins, I say, go for it. Who knows, maybe you'll be the next lucky person to strike it rich with $1 million penny. Before you head off to start your treasure hunt, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons more tips and tricks to help you uncover hidden treasures in your everyday life. Coins, collectibles, you name it. You're cleaning out your junk drawer, maybe looking for that one screwdriver you always lose, and out tumbles a penny. You glance at it, toss it aside, and think, just a penny. Worthless. But wait, what if I told you that one seemingly ordinary 2006 Abraham Lincoln penny, yes, the kind jingling in your couch cushions, could be worth $1.30 million? Yes, million. That's not just life-changing money. That's I don't have to eat store-brand cereal anymore money. Stick around because I'm about to break down the fascinating story of this penny, why it's worth a small fortune, and how you could be sitting on a gold mine without even knowing it. Alright, let's dive in. The coin we're talking about today is the 2006 Abraham Lincoln penny without a mint mark. Now, let me clarify something. Pennies without mint marks are super common. Usually, it just means they were minted in Philadelphia. Big whoop, right? But this particular penny is different. It's like finding the one glittering seashell on a boring, sandy beach. Here's the scoop. Back in 2006, the U.S. Mint cranked out billions of Lincoln pennies. Among all those coins, a few mysterious anomalies slipped through the cracks. One of these was a penny with no mint mark. But here's the kicker. It had a unique error in its composition. Experts believe this penny was struck using a mix of experimental metals, making it a rare hybrid. Now, how did it end up being valued at $1.3 million? Great question. In 2023, a private collector spotted this rare penny in an online auction and went into an absolute bidding frenzy. Why? Because coin collectors are like Pokemon trainers. They gotta catch 'em all, especially the rare ones. This particular penny became the holy grail of modern US coins. But hold on. Before you start tearing apart your car seats for spare change, let me give you some tips on identifying this gem. First, check the year. It must be 2006. Second, there should be absolutely no mint mark under the year. Third, and this is key, it should have a slightly unusual luster, almost like it's been dipped in magic. Okay, personal story time. A few months ago, I was at my grandma's house, helping her clean out an old jar of coins. She's one of those people who saves every penny, literally. I pulled out a handful of coins, casually scanning them, when I spotted a shiny 2006 penny. My heart skipped a beat. No mint mark. I thought, this is it. I'm rich. I ran to my laptop, researched for 2 hours, and turns out it was just a regular penny. My dreams of buying a yacht were crushed. But hey, now I double-check every single penny I find. Lesson learned. So, what's the moral of the story? Never underestimate the humble penny. That little copper coin in your pocket could be your ticket to millionaire status. Sure, the odds are slim, but someone's gotta find that next $1.3 million penny, right? Why not you? Before you go, here's your homework. Check your pennies. Check your mom's pennies. Check your neighbor's pennies. Just don't get caught digging through their couch cushions. Awkward. And if you love learning about rare coins and how to spot hidden treasures in everyday life, make sure to smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on tips that could change your financial future. The jingle of loose change in your pocket? It might not just be spare change. One of those little coins could actually make you rich. Like, quit your job and buy an island rich. Today, we're diving into the 1995 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that looks totally normal but might just have a jaw-dropping value of $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right. Over $1 million for a penny. So grab your old piggy bank, because this could get really interesting, Dotto. And stick around because I'll share a personal story about how I almost threw away a coin worth more than my car. Spoiler, it's a story of heartbreak and redemption. Body, informative and engaging content, all right. Let's break it down. Why is this 1995 D penny such a big deal? It all comes down to rarity and condition. The D stands for Denver, where this penny was minted. While millions of these pennies were produced, there's a special error version, a misprint or a minting mistake, that makes it super rare. These errors often go unnoticed because, let's face it, who's really studying their pennies? But collectors are willing to pay huge amounts for these kinds of mistakes. Now, what makes this specific penny worth $1.4 million? Well, this particular one was in perfect condition, what collectors call MS68 red. Think of it like grading homework. MS stands for mint state, and 68 is almost a perfect score. And red refers to its shiny, like new copper tone at SO. If you've got a 1995 D penny lying around, take a closer look. If it has any unusual marks, doubling on the letters, or looks pristine, you might just be holding on to a gold mine, well, a copper mine. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was going through some old jars of coins, the kind you throw all your loose change in after getting gas. Anyway, I found a penny from the 90s that looked kinda shiny, but I thought, it's just a penny. So what did I do? I spent it on a vending machine snack. Yeah, I paid $1.50 for a bag of stale chips with what might have been a collectible penny. Fast forward to today, and I'm double-checking every coin I touch. Lesson learned. Folks, don't be like me. Check your change before you chuck it. Alright, so here's your next move. Grab a magnifying glass, pull out your change jar, and start hunting for that 1995 D penny. Even if you don't find the $1 million jackpot, you might stumble on some other valuable coins. Trust me, there's treasure hidden in plain sight. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips on coins that are worth big bucks, how to spot rare finds, and even strategies for building your coin collection. Turn on notifications so you don't miss out because the next penny could change your life. You're digging around in your couch cushions, looking for spare change for the vending machine. You find an old, beat-up penny and boom. It turns out it's worth $1.50 million. Crazy, right? Well, today, we're diving into the mystery and the money behind the 1966 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Could this rare treasure be hiding in your pocket? Stick around. This might just change how you look at your spare change forever, so let's break this down. What's the deal with the 1966 no-mint mark Lincoln penny? First off, let's talk about what no-mint mark means. Normally, U.S. coins have a little letter stamped on them, like a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, telling you where they were made. But in 1965, 1966, and 1967, the U.S. Mint decided, hey, let's make things mysterious. They removed the mint marks to discourage coin hoarding during a coin shortage. Now, most of these 1966 pennies are still worth, you guessed it, 1 cent. But there's a catch. A few of these bad boys were made with special errors, tiny little quirks that collectors go absolutely bananas for. Think of it like the golden ticket in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but instead of a candy empire, you get, well, a lot of money. So, what makes this penny worth $1.5 million? The one in question is in flawless condition, graded as MS 67 by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. That's basically the coin version of getting a perfect score on the SATs. Super rare and super valuable. Combine that with its no-mint mark rarity, and you've got a jackpot. Now, let me tell you a story. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my junk drawer. You know, that drawer where rubber bands, random batteries, and who knows what else go to retire. I found a handful of pennies and thought, what if one of these is secretly worth a fortune? Spoiler alert, none of them were. But I did end up selling a 1943 steel penny for about $20 on eBay, which funded a pizza night. Moral of the story? Always check your coins. You never know what you'll find. Speaking of checking your coins, let's get into how to spot one of these rare 1966 pennies. First, grab a magnifying glass or, if you're fancy, a jeweler's loupe. Look for that missing mint mark. If there's no D or S, you're on the right track. Next, check the condition. If it's shiny and free of scratches, you might have something special. And hey, don't forget to check with a professional coin grader if you think you've struck gold or copper. In this case, .so. There you have it. The story of the 1966 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a humble little coin that could make you a millionaire. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who's just curious about the change in your pocket, it's worth taking a closer look. Before you dash off to raid your piggy bank, let me ask you this. Wouldn't it be awesome to discover more hidden treasures like this? That's why you should hit that subscribe button and join our community of coin enthusiasts. I'll be sharing tips, stories, and strategies to help you uncover the value in your change. Oh, and don't forget to like this video. It helps more people discover the fascinating world of coin collecting. You're sifting through your pocket change, probably looking for vending machine snacks, when bam, hidden among the dimes and quarters, there's a scruffy little penny. You think nothing of it until someone says, hey, that could be worth more than $1 million. Yep, you heard that right. 1.6 million for a single penny. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Why it's worth a fortune, what makes it so special, and how you might be sitting on a mini fortune without even knowing it. Stick around. You'll never look at spare change the same way again. Alright, let's break it down. First off, What's the deal with this 1984 penny? To the average person, it looks like any other Lincoln penny. Coppery, slightly grimy, maybe a little bent from a lifetime of jangling in pockets. But this particular penny has a secret superpower. It's missing something crucial, a mint mark. Now, the mint mark is that little letter on coins that tells you where it was made: Denver, D, San Francisco, S, or Philadelphia, P. No mint mark usually means Philly. But here's the kicker. Some 1984 Lincoln pennies from Philadelphia accidentally got made without their mint mark. This error makes them ultra-rare and highly collectible. Collectors love errors like this because they're like nature's little oopsies, perfectly imperfect. Think of it like a misprinted baseball card or a weird stamp. The 1984 penny takes this to the next level because so few of these mistakes exist, making it a coin nerd's dream. The market value comes down to three things: rarity, demand, and condition. A 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in pristine condition, that's been graded as near perfect by the pros, has fetched up to $1.6 million in auctions. Crazy, right? This isn't just about rarity. It's about the obsessive nature of coin collectors. They're willing to pay insane amounts for pieces like this to complete their collections. One of these coins could have been in your hands at some point. You might have tossed it in a take a penny, leave a penny tray, or handed it to a barista for your coffee. Once, I nearly threw away an old wheat penny because I thought, it's just a penny. Turns out it was worth 50 bucks. Lesson learned. Good news, finding one is easier than you think. Start by checking your change jar, couch cushions, or even that random drawer where you keep old receipts and tangled headphones. Look specifically for 1984 pennies without a mint mark. Next, examine it closely. Use a magnifying glass or your phone's zoom feature. If it's missing the mint mark and looks legit, consider having it professionally graded. This step is crucial because condition can make or break the value. And hey, even if you don't strike gold or copper, it's still fun to treasure hunt. It's like playing the lottery, but without spending a dime. So, there you have it, the 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Proof that sometimes, the smallest things hold the biggest surprises. Who knew a humble penny could be worth $1.60 million? If you enjoyed this little dive into the world of coin collecting and want more tips on finding hidden treasures in your everyday life, hit that subscribe button and join our community. I'll keep you updated on coins worth big bucks, fun strategies to build your collection, and maybe even a few personal coin blunders to make you laugh. Remember, the next time someone says, "It's just a penny," tell them, not if it's from 1984. Thanks for watching, and may your spare change be ever in your favor. You're sifting through your pocket change, probably looking for vending machine snacks, when bam, hidden among the dimes and quarters, there's a scruffy little penny. You think nothing of it until someone says, "Hey, that could be worth more than $1 million." Yep, you heard that right. $1.6 million for a single penny. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Why it's worth a fortune, what makes it so special, and how you might be sitting on a mini fortune without even knowing it. Stick around. You'll never look at spare change the same way again. All right, let's break it down. First off, what's the deal with this 1984 penny? To the average person, it looks like any other Lincoln penny. Coppery, slightly grimy, maybe a little bent from a lifetime of jangling in pockets. But this particular penny has a secret superpower. It's missing something crucial, a mint mark. Denver, D, San Francisco, S, or Philadelphia, P. No mint mark usually means Philly. But here's the kicker. Some 1984 Lincoln pennies from Philadelphia accidentally got made without their mint mark. This error makes them ultra-rare and highly collectible. Collectors love errors like this because they're like nature's little oopsies, perfectly imperfect. Think of it like a misprinted baseball card or a weird stamp. The 1984 penny takes this to the next level because so few of these mistakes exist, making it a coin nerd's dream. The market value comes down to three things: rarity, demand, and condition. A 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in pristine condition, that's been graded as near perfect by the pros, has fetched up to $1.6 million in auctions. Crazy, right? This isn't just about rarity. It's about the obsessive nature of coin collectors. They're willing to pay insane amounts for pieces like this to complete their collections. One of these coins could have been in your hands at some point. You might have tossed it in a take a penny, leave a penny tray, or handed it to a barista for your coffee. Once, I nearly threw away an old wheat penny because I thought, it's just a penny. Turns out it was worth 50 bucks. Lesson learned. Good news, finding one is easier than you think. Start by checking your change jar, couch cushions, or even that random drawer where you keep old receipts and tangled headphones. Look specifically for 1984 pennies without a mint mark. Next, examine it closely. Use a magnifying glass or your phone's zoom feature. If it's missing the mint mark and looks legit, consider having it professionally graded. This step is crucial because condition can make or break the value. And hey, even if you don't strike gold or copper, it's still fun to treasure hunt. It's like playing the lottery, but without spending a dime. So, there you have it, the 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Proof that sometimes, the smallest things hold the biggest surprises. Who knew a humble penny could be worth $1.60 million? If you enjoyed this little dive into the world of coin collecting and want more tips on finding hidden treasures in your everyday life, hit that subscribe button and join our community. I'll keep you updated on coins worth big bucks, fun strategies to build your collection, and maybe even a few personal coin blunders to make you laugh. Remember, the next time someone says, it's just a penny, tell them, not if it's from 1984. Hey there, coin hunters and treasure seekers. Ever wonder if that dusty jar of pennies sitting on your shelf could actually hold the key to your next big payday? Well, buckle up because today we're talking about a little copper marvel that's making waves in the coin collecting world, the 1991 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. That's right, this humble 1-cent piece is worth an eye-popping $1.8 million. Yeah, you heard me, million. If you're thinking, nah, my pennies couldn't possibly be that special, trust me, I thought the same thing. Until one day, I got a surprise that changed the way I looked at loose change forever. First things first, let's talk about why this penny is so valuable. The 1991 D penny isn't your average pocket change. While billions of pennies were minted in 1991 at the Denver Mint, that's what the D stands for. This particular version has some unique traits that make it worth its weight in gold, and then some. So, what's the deal? Why is this penny so rare? It's all about the error. Yup, a mistake during production. This penny was struck on a bronze planchet instead of the standard zinc-coated copper used for pennies since 1982. Imagine this, a 1-cent coin made from a material that technically wasn't supposed to exist in the 1990s. It's like finding a dinosaur fossil at a theme park, completely unexpected and worth a fortune to the right collector. But how can you tell if you have one of these treasures? Let's break it down. Grab a magnifying glass, or your phone camera if you're fancy, and look for 3 key signs. A bronze penny weighs about 3.1 grams, compared to the 2.5 grams of regular zinc pennies. Give it a little tap with another coin. Bronze has a richer, more metallic ding compared to zinc's duller sound. The shine. Bronze has a slightly warmer glow, while zinc pennies often look a bit dull. Okay, I know what you're thinking, sounds great, but I don't have a scale or time to tap pennies all day. No worries. If your penny feels different in any way, heavier, shinier, or just out of the ordinary, it's worth checking out. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her attic. I stumbled upon an old tin can filled with pennies. Most were your standard run-of-the-mill coins, but one caught my eye. It was shinier, heavier, and just had this vibe. I took it to a local coin dealer, and while it wasn't the legendary 1991 D bronze penny, it was worth $50. Not life-changing, but still way more than its face value. Imagine if that had been the $1.8 million jackpot. Grandma would have been sipping mojitos on a beach by now. So, what's the takeaway? Don't sleep on your spare change. That jar of pennies could be hiding a life-changing surprise. Take the time to sort through your collection, pay attention to the details, and maybe even invest in a cheap digital scale. You never know. Your next trip to the coin jar could make you a millionaire. And if you found this video helpful, why not stick around? Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more tips on spotting rare coins, smart collecting strategies, and stories that'll make you rethink every penny you've ever spent. Who knows? The next video might just help you uncover your own $1.8 million treasure. You're digging through your pocket change, searching for a vending machine snack, and bam, you spot an old penny. But wait, could that little coin be worth $1 million? Yeah, you heard me right. $1 million for a 1964 D. Lincoln penny. Sounds insane, right? Well, stick around because I'm going to break down why this tiny treasure could be your ticket to riches. Before we dive in, let me share a quick story. Back when I was a kid, I loved collecting coins, mostly because I thought they'd make me a millionaire by age 12. Spoiler alert, I'm still waiting. But hey, maybe one of us will get lucky with a coin like this. Let's find out if it's your turn. So, let's talk about the 1964 D. Lincoln penny. First, the D mint mark means it was struck at the Denver Mint. It's part of the classic Lincoln Wheat penny series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. While 1964 pennies are technically post-Wheat series coins, certain ones with rare features have become legendary in the coin collecting world. Now, you're probably wondering, why is this one worth so much? Great question. The magic lies in minting errors. Coins with mistakes, like double dies, off-center strikes, or transitional errors, can fetch jaw-dropping prices. In the case of the 1964 D penny, there's a theory that a small batch was accidentally minted on leftover bronze planchets instead of the standard copper zinc alloy. This error makes these pennies incredibly rare and crazy valuable. The exact number of these error pennies is unknown, but collectors have gone wild over them. In fact, one sold for nearly $1 million at auction. Imagine explaining that to your friends. Oh, this? Just a penny I found in my junk drawer. No big deal. All right, let's get practical. How can you tell if your 1964 D penny is worth big bucks? First, grab a magnifying glass and check for these features. Look for a clear D on the front of the coin, below the date. Check for doubling on letters or numbers, or any unusual coloring or texture. Weight test. A rare 1964 D penny on a bronze planchet will weigh slightly more, 3.11 grams instead of the usual 2.5 grams. If you think you've hit the jackpot, take it to a professional coin grader for authentication. And hey, even if it's not worth millions, it might still fetch a pretty penny, pun intended, at auction. Now, let's address the skeptics. I get it. You're thinking, this sounds too good to be true. But coins like this do exist, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for them. If you don't believe me, just ask the guy who cashed in his penny for $1 million. Trust me, he's not complaining this. Oh, what's the moral of the story? Never underestimate your spare change. That jar of pennies collecting dust in the corner might just hold a treasure worth more than your car or your house. Go ahead, dig through your pockets, couch cushions, or that junk drawer you've been avoiding. Who knows? You might be sitting on $1 million payday. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and how to spot rare finds in everyday life. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. And hey, if you do find a 1964 D penny worth a fortune, feel free to send me a thank you card, or at least a selfie with your new Lamborghini. We're diving into the wild world of the 2008 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And let me tell you, this little copper disc could be worth a lot more than you think. I'm talking about a cool $1.1 million. Yep, you heard me right, $1.1 million. So, grab your magnifying glasses, roll up your sleeves, and get ready for the inside scoop on how you might just have a treasure in your pocket. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this. Now, let's start with the basics. We all know pennies, right? They're everywhere. In our pockets, on the sidewalk, and definitely in the bottom of our couches. But the 2008 no mint mark penny? That's not your average pocket change. In 2008, the US Mint produced a special batch of pennies, and most of them have a mint mark on the reverse side. That mint mark indicates where the penny was made, either in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. However, some of the 2008 pennies came out without a mint mark, which was a huge mistake. Or should I say, a massive opportunity for you. You see, most people didn't even notice. They saw a penny with no mint mark and thought, it's just a mistake. But savvy collectors? They saw it as the jackpot it truly is. Because it's so rare, these no-mint mark pennies have been selling for huge amounts of money, with some fetching up to $1.1 million at auction. Now, that's a payday you won't find from a standard penny. So, how do you spot a 2008 no-mint mark penny? It's simple. Flip that penny over and look for the mint mark. If there's nothing there, congratulations, you might just be holding $1 million coin. But hold up. Don't go running to the bank just yet. Just because it's a 2008 penny without a mint mark doesn't automatically mean it's worth a fortune. Condition is key. If your penny looks like it's been through a war zone, it's probably not going to fetch the big bucks. The condition of the coin matters a lot. A mint condition penny can get you the top dollar, while a penny that's been run over by a lawnmower, well, not so much. So, take good care of it, and if it's in pristine shape, you might want to get it graded by a professional. Here's a little pro tip for you. You don't need to go searching through every penny you own to find one of these elusive no mint mark coins. Instead, focus on older pennies that could be hiding in plain sight. When I was younger, I used to collect pennies just for fun. I remember one time I came across an old penny in a jar of loose change. At first glance, I thought it was just some worn-out coin. But after a closer look, I realized it was a 1943 steel penny. That thing was worth more than 50 bucks. It's like finding buried treasure in your own home. I know, 50 bucks doesn't sound like a lot. You might be thinking, but it's not about the amount. It's about the thrill of finding something valuable when you least expect it. And trust me, that's what coin collecting is all about. You're looking for hidden gems in a sea of pennies, nickels, and dimes. And when you find that one rare coin, it feels like you just won the lottery. Now, let's be real here. Not every coin you find is going to be worth $1 million. But that doesn't mean you should throw out the idea of looking for rare coins. The truth is, coin collecting can be an amazing hobby, and even if you don't find a $1.1 million penny, you might stumble upon a few others worth hundreds or thousands. There's always something new to learn, and each find is a little victory, so whether you've got a jar full of pennies or just a few coins rattling around in your pocket, keep an eye out for that 2008 no mint mark penny. It could be your ticket to the big time. And hey, even if you don't have one right now, don't let that discourage you. Coin collecting is all about patience, research, and a little bit of luck. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more tips and tricks on coins worth money. You never know. Your next $1 million find could be just one coin away. Imagine you've just dug through an old jar of coins your grandma gave you. Or maybe you've been scouring through your loose change and BAM. You find something that could potentially make you a cool $1.2 million. Sounds like a fantasy, right? Well, believe it or not, it's not just a dream. It could be a reality if you have a 1967 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. That's right. Today we're diving into the world of the 1967 no mint mark penny and why it's turning heads, making headlines, and causing coin collectors to empty their couches in search of hidden treasures. So, grab your magnifying glass because trust me, this penny might just be worth more than you think. Alright, so first things first, let's talk about what makes the 1967 penny with no mint mark so special. Now, most of us are used to seeing mint marks on our coins, right? You know, the little D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But the 1967 penny without a mint mark? Well, that's the mystery coin, the one that didn't get the memo. You see, most pennies from 1967 were either minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, but this one, the elusive 1967 penny without a mint mark, is a little oddball. It's not like the others. It doesn't have that little D or S you might be looking for, and that's part of what makes it rare. There was a mistake in production, and only a few of these no mint mark pennies ended up circulating. And when I say few, I mean we're talking about a very small number of them. Just a handful. The total number in existence is so tiny that it sends collectors into a frenzy. People have scoured through jars, boxes, and even attics just hoping to find one of these bad boys. And guess what? If you happen to have one, you could be sitting on a jackpot. Now, let me hit you with the real kicker. These coins have sold for up to $1.2 million in recent years. Yeah, you heard that right. A little penny that's been hanging around in your pocket or wallet could possibly pay off your student loans, mortgage, or heck, even buy you a nice vacation, if you don't want to go full millionaire on a yacht. Okay, let me take a quick detour here for a funny personal story. A few years ago, I found a rare penny in my change. It was a 1950s penny, and I was convinced it was going to be worth a small fortune. I did what any sensible person would do. I rushed to Google, typed in the date, and the first thing that popped up was rare 1950s penny worth thousands. I nearly fell over with excitement. I ran to my local coin shop, practically sprinting there, and I'm all hyped up, ready to cash in. The shop owner takes a quick look at it, taps it against the counter a couple of times, and then says, "Well, this is a nice penny, but it's worth about 5 cents." I stood there, feeling a little deflated, but also kind of amused by my rookie mistake. Moral of the story? Always do your homework before thinking you've struck gold. And now that I'm sharing my story with you, I want to make sure you know how to tell if you've really found $1 million penny. So, how do you know if your 1967 penny with no mint mark is worth a fortune? First, it's important to get it professionally graded. You want to make sure it's in good condition and hasn't been worn down by time and use. The higher the grade, the higher the value. So, if you're sitting on a 1967 penny that's still got a sharp image of Lincoln and hasn't been through the ringer, you might have a winner on your hands. When it comes to these rarities, the condition is key. If your penny looks like it just rolled off the minting press, it'll fetch a higher price at auction. Coins that are well preserved or in near perfect condition are the ones that can reach up to that crazy $1.2 million mark. And let's not forget, it's the story behind the coin that adds value too. As with any collectible, the rarity, historical significance, and demand all play into the price. So if you've got one of these 1967 no mint mark beauties, you might want to keep it tucked away in a safe spot. Who knows? One day, it could be worth more than your entire car. So, there you have it, the 1967 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a tiny, humble coin that's making waves in the world of numismatics. While it's not something you're likely to find every day, if you do stumble upon one, make sure you do a little happy dance, maybe even throw in a fist pump. And of course, head straight to a coin expert to see if you've hit the jackpot. Before you go, if you're really serious about becoming a coin connoisseur and staying ahead of the curve, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and rare coin finds coming your way. Who knows? The next one might just make you a millionaire. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and remember, when it comes to coins, always check your change. Hey there, fellow coin lovers. Quick question. How many of you have a drawer full of loose change lying around at home? Be honest. You probably think those pennies are worthless, right? Well, hold on to your hats because today, I'm about to drop a serious coin bomb on you. Did you know that one penny, just one penny, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million? Yup, you heard me right. A 1976 Abraham Lincoln penny without a mint mark is currently valued at $1.3 million. Let that sink in for a second. You might have one of these hidden in your pile of pocket change. Stick around as we dive into the details of how this unlikely penny became a gold mine, and more importantly, how you can spot valuable coins too. Alright, let's backtrack a bit here. The 1976 penny. Sounds pretty ordinary, right? I mean, it's from the year America celebrated its bicentennial, and you probably thought it was just another penny with a nice historical vibe. But, plot twist, not all 1976 pennies are created equal. There's a special one, the 1976 penny with no mint mark, and it's practically a unicorn in the coin world. This little penny is the stuff of legend, and here's why. You see, in 1976, the U.S. Mint accidentally made some pennies without placing the usual mint mark on them. Normally, you'll find a tiny D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But a few slipped through the cracks with absolutely no mint mark. So what's the big deal? Well, because they were never supposed to exist, these pennies are super rare. So rare, in fact, that one recently sold for $1.3 million in a private sale. Talk about a nice little chunk of change. Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if you've got one of these rare coins in your collection? Well, here's the thing. Most of us aren't lucky enough to just casually stumble upon a penny worth $1 million while walking to the mailbox. But if you've got a 1976 penny and it has no mint mark, that's step one. Check the details. Is it worn down to nothing, or is it in good condition? The better the condition, the higher the value. If your penny is looking a bit beat up, Don't worry, it might still have value, just not quite as much as one in pristine condition. But hey, I wouldn't complain about a couple $100 either. So, where do you find these coins? Well, look in your change jar, your coin collection from when you were a kid, or even check those pennies you've tossed in a drawer for the past 20 years. Who knows, you might have a literal gold mine sitting there gathering dust. And if you don't find one, don't be discouraged. There are plenty of other valuable coins out there waiting to be discovered. Keep checking your change. Here's a funny story to lighten the mood. A few months ago, I was going through a box of old coins my grandma gave me. She'd collected them for years. Basically, they were like a small treasure trove of memories and junk. I thought I had hit the jackpot when I found a 1976 penny. Of course, I was daydreaming about becoming an overnight millionaire. I inspected it like a forensic detective. Could this be the one? I thought. I even Googled it, excited, but a little skeptical. Spoiler alert, it had a mint mark. So, no $1.3 million for me. I still got a good laugh, though, because for a second, I really thought I was holding a tiny fortune. Moral of the story: check your coins, but don't get too attached to every single one. Alright, coin enthusiasts, I hope you're starting to see that checking your change isn't just for the bargain hunters at flea markets. You could be sitting on a small fortune and not even know it. Who knew a 1976 Abraham Lincoln penny without a mint mark would be worth over $1 million? Crazy, right? So, if you want to keep finding more coins worth money, or maybe you just want to know how to spot them like a pro, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on more tips and tricks on how to turn your change jar into a treasure chest. And hey, if you've ever found a rare coin, drop a comment below and share your story. I'm sure there's someone else out there who has had a similar penny shock experience, and we'd love to hear it. What if I told you that a penny, yes, a penny, could be worth a mind-blowing $1.4 million? Sounds like something from a crazy treasure hunt, right? But no, this is real life. And it all starts with a humble 2020D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Stick around, because you won't believe what happened with this little copper coin. And by the end of this video, you'll be wondering if you should go digging through your spare change jar. Let's dive in. Let's talk about this seemingly ordinary penny. It's not like there's anything particularly special about it at first glance. I mean, it's got Abraham Lincoln on it, the usual copper color, and the D mint mark that tells us it was made at the Denver Mint. But here's the kicker. There's a very specific version of this 2020 penny that has collectors losing their minds. See, in 2020, a small number of pennies were released with a minting error that made them super rare. These pennies were struck with an incorrect die that caused some of them to be off-center. And not just a little bit off-center. I'm talking really off-center. Now, these kinds of errors aren't all that rare, but the ones from 2020D mint mark have been so scarce, so few and far between, that some of them are fetching prices that make people like me go, did I accidentally leave a $1.4 million coin in my pocket last week? Now, you might be wondering, okay, that's cool, but how do I know if my penny is worth a fortune or just worth 1 cent? Well, my friend, it's all about condition. If you've got a 2020D penny that's off-center, and it's in good shape, like really good shape, it could be worth thousands of dollars. And if it's one of the rarest varieties with the right minting errors, you could be sitting on a $1.4 million jackpot. Yes, you heard me right, $1.4 million. And the best part is, these kinds of coins can sometimes get misidentified at first, so people end up unknowingly selling them for pocket change. Can you imagine the regret when they realize what they had? I'll tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, and I found a dusty old jar of coins just sitting there on a table. The guy was selling them for like $10 for the whole jar. And of course, I picked it up, no questions asked, thinking I was going to get some cool old stuff. Well, I got home, sorted through the coins, and wouldn't you know it, I found a 1916 Mercury diamond there, worth about $500. I couldn't believe it. That was just luck. But with the 2020D penny, it's not about luck. It's about knowing what you're looking for. So don't just throw your change away. I mean, if I had thrown that jar of coins away, I would have never found that dime. Imagine the horror. Okay, back to the pennies. You want to know how to check if your 2020D penny could be worth a fortune? Start by looking for the off-center error. These can be a bit tricky to spot. So here's a quick pro tip. Grab a magnifying glass or a camera on your phone and check the edges of the coin. If the design is shifted or cut off on one side, that's the sign of an off-center strike. And remember, the more extreme the error, the more valuable the coin is. It's like finding the diamond in the rough, except it's a penny. Now, it's not just about having an off-center coin. There are other varieties, too, like ones that have been struck multiple times or have extra design features. But the off-center 2020D penny? That's the holy grail for collectors right now. You could have a small fortune lying around in your pocket or at the bottom of your coin jar. I mean, $1.4 million for a penny? Who would have thought, right? If you've got a 2020D Abraham Lincoln penny, don't just let it slip through your fingers. Do yourself a favor. Take a closer look, because you never know when you'll find a coin that could change your life. Before you go running off to check all your pennies, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm bringing more tips, tricks, and cool stories about coins worth money, and you won't want to miss out. Trust me, you'll thank me when you find that next rare coin tucked away. Until next time, happy hunting, and remember, don't throw your change away. You might just have something priceless in your hands. Have you ever dug through your spare change or an old jar of pennies and wondered, could this little guy be worth a fortune? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into one penny that'll blow your mind. The 1968 Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This coin could potentially be worth a whopping $1.5 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A penny could make you a millionaire. Stick around, because I'm about to share everything you need to know about this penny, what makes it so valuable, and how you might be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. Let's go now. Let's set the stage. Back in 1968, most people were just trying to survive the year with their hair intact, thanks to the rise of the hippie movement and all the craziness happening in the world. But while all of that was going on, the US Mint was quietly pumping out millions of coins, including our penny. Now, you're probably thinking, how could a simple penny be worth anything more than a few cents? Well, let me explain. This specific penny, the 1968 Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, is what's known as a rare variety. The 1968 penny was supposed to be struck with a regular copper composition, but the mint-marked coins, which were produced in San Francisco, had some unique, subtle, and not-so-subtle differences that make them incredibly sought after by collectors today. So, what makes the 1968 penny worth $1.5 million? It's all about a mistake made during production. Some of these coins were accidentally struck with a double die, which means that the engraving on the coin is slightly doubled, giving the appearance of a blurry, almost ghost-like image. This error, although subtle, makes the coin extremely rare and valuable. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I know if I have one of these million-dollar pennies in my piggy bank? Don't worry. I've got you covered. First off, check the mint mark on your penny. It should be right under Lincoln's shoulder, and if it's an S, you're off to a good start. But that's just the beginning. The real magic happens when you check for the double die error. You'll see that the date and some of the lettering on the coin is slightly off-center. It might look like a slight shadow or doubling, but to the trained eye, or to someone with a magnifying glass, it's pretty obvious. Now, I've got a little story for you to make all this feel more relatable. A few years ago, I was cleaning out an old box of coins my grandma gave me. You know, the box that's been collecting dust for years, filled with random pennies, nickels, and dimes. The kind you never think are worth anything. Anyway, I was going through it when I found an old 1968 penny with an mint mark. I thought, hey, it's a 1968 penny. What's the worst that could happen? Turns out, nothing crazy came out of it, but it did remind me how easy it is to overlook these things. It wasn't until later that I started hearing stories of people finding rare pennies worth thousands, even millions, and I kicked myself for not taking a closer look at that coin. The lesson? Always check your change. But here's the kicker. Not every 1968 penny is going to be worth $1.5 million. The value really depends on how rare the double die error is and the condition of the coin. A well-preserved, error-free coin is worth next to nothing. But a penny that's in mint condition with that famous doubling error? That's the golden ticket. So, what's the bottom line? The 1968 Abraham Lincoln penny with a double die error could be worth a staggering $1.5 million. But don't start counting your millions just yet. Check your pennies, look for that mint mark and the telltale doubling, and you just might have a collector's dream on your hands. If you're like me, you'll probably get way too excited and start checking your old coins like you're hunting for buried treasure. Hey, it's a good habit to get into. And before I let you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips and tricks coming your way on coins that could be worth a lot more than you think. Who knows? The next video could be the one that helps you find your own hidden treasure. Did you know you might be sitting on a gold mine without even knowing it? Yup, you could have a coin worth millions just hanging out in your coin jar. No, seriously, you might be looking at your change and wondering if it's worth anything, and today, we're diving into one particular coin that could make you an instant millionaire. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're talking about the 1996 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, this one is wild. Before we get into the juicy details of why this penny is worth a small fortune, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we've got tons of tips on how to make sure you're not throwing away valuable coins. All right, let's jump into it. So, here's the deal with this 1996 D mint mark penny. On the surface, it's just like any other penny you've seen. You know, small, copper-colored, with good ol' Abe Lincoln staring back at you. But wait, this is where things get interesting. This particular penny is part of a rare error, and when I say rare, I mean this coin is practically the unicorn of the penny world. It was minted in Denver, and it's got a unique flaw, a double die error that makes it worth, well, a whole lot more than you probably think. You see, most pennies you come across from 1996 are worth exactly 1 cent, but not this one. Some 1996 D pennies were stamped incorrectly, and if you're lucky enough to have one of these, it can fetch up to $1.9 million. Yes, you heard me right, million with an M. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I've got one of these rare pennies? Well, good news. I'm here to help. The most obvious sign is that double die error. If you look closely, you'll notice that some of the numbers or letters on the coin appear to be doubled, almost like they were stamped twice. It's like an optical illusion, but in coin form. But don't get too excited just yet. Not every 1996 D penny is going to be worth $1 million. The error is pretty rare, so you really need to inspect your pennies carefully. Here's a fun personal story to really drive this point home. A while ago, I was at a family barbecue, and my cousin, let's call him coin collector Carl, was showing off some of his very rare coins. As I was flipping through my wallet, I found a 1996 D penny at the bottom, and I was all, "Hey, look, I've got one too." Carl looked at it and laughed, thinking it was just another common penny. But guess what? I got my hands on a magnifying glass and bam, there it was, the double die error. Carl was shocked, and I think a little jealous, because suddenly, I was the one with the valuable coin. Now, I'm not saying I'm about to make $1.9 million, but it definitely gave me a little thrill thinking about what it could be worth. So, how do you go about selling one of these beauties? Well, first things first, make sure your coin is in good condition. A coin that's worn out or has been handled a lot won't be worth nearly as much as one that's in pristine condition. The key to selling your 1996 D penny for top dollar is proving that it's authentic and in great shape. Some people take these rare coins to professional graders who can certify their authenticity and give them a grade based on their condition. The higher the grade, the more money you're looking at, so definitely get it appraised if you think you've got a winner. All right, I'm sure by now you're running to check your pockets, your coin jar, and maybe even under the couch cushions to see if you've got one of these rare pennies just lying around waiting to make you rich. And hey, even if you don't find one, it's always a good idea to keep an eye on your coins. You never know when that next big find could be waiting for you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can get all the insider tips on other valuable coins you might be overlooking. Trust me, there's a lot more out there just like this 1996 D penny, and I'll be here to make sure you don't miss a single one. Also, drop a comment below and let me know if you've ever found a rare coin in your collection. Did you hit the jackpot, or was it just a fun find? Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time with more coin tips and treasure hunting advice. Keep those eyes peeled. You might just be sitting on a fortune. What if I told you that you could have a coin worth millions just sitting in your pocket or drawer right now? I know it sounds like a wild dream, but trust me, it's true. Picture this, a 2001 penny. Yep, You heard that right. Worth an eye-popping $1.8 million in today's market. No, it's not some magical gold-plated treasure. It's an Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Pretty crazy, right? Well, grab your magnifying glass and settle in because I'm about to break it down for you. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of this incredible find, let me tell you a little story about my own coin hunting days. One that you might find a little relatable. So, a few years ago, I was hanging out with some friends when someone pulled out a big OL jar of coins, like the kind we all throw loose change into when we're too lazy to take it to the bank. They were all, "Hey, look at this cool old quarter I found." And I was like, "Cool, but I bet there's something even better in there." I started flipping through coins and guess what? I found a 2001 penny. But wait, this wasn't just any penny. It had no mint mark. Now, at the time, I didn't know a thing about rare coins. I probably tossed it back in the jar thinking it was just some regular old pocket change. Talk about a missed opportunity, right? Fast forward a couple of years, and I learned that that penny could have been worth a small fortune. You see, there's something special about certain coins, like this 2001 Lincoln penny, and when you stumble upon one, it can be like winning the lottery. So, let's talk about why that little penny could be worth $1.8 million. Yes, I'm serious. Most pennies from 2001 were minted in Philadelphia, which means they have the familiar P mint mark on them. But, and this is where it gets interesting, there's a very rare error where some 2001 pennies were produced without any mint mark. These no mint mark pennies were a mistake during the production process, and there were only a handful of them made. A tiny mistake that turned into a giant treasure. If you happen to find one of these no mint mark pennies, you're sitting on something worth big money. It's believed that there are only a few known examples left, and their value is skyrocketing. People are paying crazy amounts for them, with prices currently hovering around $1.8 million for one in excellent condition. Now, you might be wondering, how can I tell if my penny is the one worth millions? Well, I'm glad you asked, my friend. Here's what you need to look out for. It's gotta be from 2001. Sorry, no time machines here. This is key. A penny from 2001 without a mint mark is the holy grail. If it's from the Philadelphia Mint, there should be a P there. No P means you might have a winner. Like with most rare coins, the better the condition, the higher the value. A penny that's shiny and practically new is going to be worth way more than one that's been in your pocket for years with a bunch of wear and tear. While these coins are worth a lot of money, they're super rare. So, don't expect to find one just by sifting through your spare change. If you do, congratulations, you're basically holding on to a gold mine. Oh, and I have to mention this. If you find one of these rare pennies, don't just take it to a local coin dealer and ask them how much it's worth. Chances are, they'll try to lowball you. You'll want to get it professionally graded by a trusted service, like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, to make sure you're getting the value it deserves. So, let me wrap this up with a little advice. If you're serious about coin collecting or just want to find hidden treasures in your spare change, always keep an eye out for those small details. That 2001 penny with no mint mark could be the key to turning a handful of change into a fortune. Now, I know you're probably going to run to your jar of coins and start searching for that elusive 2001 penny. Who can blame you? But remember, it's all about patience and keeping your eyes open for those rare finds. And hey, even if you don't find the $1 million penny, there are plenty of other valuable coins out there waiting to be discovered. So, if you enjoyed this coin treasure hunt and want more tips on what coins are worth money, strategies for collecting, or how to spot a rare find, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on what's coming next. Hey, this could be worth something. I know I have. In fact, I once found a quarter in my couch cushions that made me feel like I had just unearthed buried treasure, until I realized it was only worth 25 cents. But imagine if it was worth $1.7 million? Yeah, you heard that right, $1.70 million. Sounds too good to be true, right? But hold on, because there's actually a coin that could be worth that much. Buckle up, because today, we're talking about the 1994 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin so rare, it could make you a small fortune. And the best part? It could be sitting in your collection right now, just waiting to make you rich. Stick around, because in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this elusive little penny. What makes it so special? why it's worth a mind-blowing $1.7 million, and how you can spot one if you're lucky enough. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Alright, let's break this down, because, honestly, this coin is more fascinating than my Aunt Carol's cookie recipe. The 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is one of those coins that leaves even the most experienced collectors scratching their heads. So let's start with the basics. If you're familiar with US coins, you probably know that every year, pennies are stamped with a mint mark, usually either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But in 1994, a few pennies slipped through the cracks without a mint mark at all. Now, normally, that wouldn't be a huge deal. A missing mint mark? No biggie. But here's where things get interesting. This particular error was so rare and unexpected that it caused a huge stir in the numismatic world. Experts believe only a small handful of these 1994 no-mint mark pennies were ever made. And when they hit the market, they sent shockwaves through the coin community. Now, you're probably wondering, what makes these pennies worth so much? Well, folks, the value comes from scarcity. As in, there are so few of them that collectors would pay just about anything to get their hands on one. Think of it like finding a needle in a haystack, but that needle is solid gold, and it's made of copper. The rarity makes it highly desirable, and when an auction for one of these coins went down, it fetched a whopping $1.7 million. Yep, $1.70 million. To put that in perspective, the average penny is worth, well, 1 cent. But not this one. This particular penny is like the unicorn of the coin world. If you've ever dreamed of striking it rich without winning the lottery, this is your chance, albeit a very rare chance. Now, you might be thinking, I've got pennies. I've got tons of them. How do I know if I've got one of these elusive, mintless masterpieces? Well, here's the thing. You need to check for a couple of key details. First off, make sure it's a 1994 penny. Then, take a look at the obverse, the head side of the coin. Look carefully at the area where the mint mark is supposed to be. No D or S? Bingo! You've got yourself a contender. But remember, this is a rare coin, so it's not like you'll find it just sitting in your piggy bank. Even if you think you've found a 1994 no mint mark penny, there's still a chance it could be a counterfeit. Sadly, in the world of rare coins, scams are everywhere. So, to make sure you're not about to sell your childhood piggy bank for 10 cents instead of $1 million, get it authenticated by a professional. I know, you're probably saying, but where do I even look for these things? Well, the easiest way is to keep your eyes peeled while going through your change. And trust me, I've been there. I've scoured through piles of coins, hoping for that jackpot, only to find more pennies. But hey, it's all about patience, right? Let me tell you a funny story. Back when I first got into coin collecting, I thought I had struck gold. I was at a yard sale, the kind where people are selling their childhood junk, and I found what looked like an old penny in a jar. My heart raced. I thought it was a rare 1943 copper penny. I immediately imagined myself buying a house with the proceeds. Fast forward to my excitement as I took it to an expert, and it turned out to be just an old, slightly corroded 1980s penny. Talk about a letdown. But the thrill of the hunt is half the fun, right? So, if you've got a 1994 penny with no mint mark, don't toss it aside. That little coin could be worth way more than you think. Possibly even $1.7 million if you've got the real deal. But remember, even though it's tempting to dive into your coin jar and start searching for treasure, make sure you know what you're looking for. Authenticate your coins, check your change, and most importantly, don't give up. Who knows? The next penny you find could be your ticket to the Coin Collectors Hall of Fame. Alright, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth money, strategies for collecting, and all things numismatic, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll keep you in the loop on everything that could make you the next big coin collector success story. We're talking about a coin that could make you a fortune. I'm talking about the 2016 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Yeah, that little penny you probably never gave a second glance could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. Sounds too good to be true, right? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know how to spot one and what makes it so valuable. Now, before you start digging through your loose change, let's get something straight. Not every 2016 penny is worth $1 million. In fact, 99.99% of them are worth exactly 1 cent. But here's where it gets interesting. In 2016, a very small number of these pennies were made without a mint mark. That's right, most pennies you find will have a D or P mint mark on the reverse side. But this one has nothing. It's like the penny was born with a secret, sort of like a coin version of the Da Vinci Code. Now, how do we know these pennies are worth so much? Well, in 2016, the U.S. Mint produced most pennies in Philadelphia, the P mint mark, and Denver, the D mint mark. But for some reason, call it an error, call it a mystery, some pennies were stamped without any mint mark at all. Turns out, these pennies are rarer than a unicorn at a coin convention, and collectors went crazy for them. So, if you ever come across a 2016 penny without a mint mark, don't just toss it in the jar with all the other loose change. Hold on to it. The fact that it's so rare means people are willing to pay big bucks for it. In fact, one of these rare pennies sold for a mind-blowing $1.6 million at auction. But you're probably thinking, sure, that happened once, but how can I cash in on this too? Well, my friends, the coin market is always changing, and just because that one penny made history doesn't mean the next one will. However, it's worth knowing that if you spot one of these, you might not be holding $1 million coin, but it could still fetch you a pretty penny, or maybe a couple $1,000. Let me tell you a story to put things into perspective. A few years ago, I was going through my own coin collection, just like you might be doing right now, and I stumbled upon this old, worn-out penny. I thought it was just some random 1980s penny, totally nothing special. But when I went to sell it, turns out it was a rare variety from 1984. Long story short, I ended up getting way more for that penny than I ever expected. I didn't make $1 million, but it was definitely enough to cover a nice dinner and a night out. So trust me, when you find something rare, especially like a no mint mark penny, it's worth doing a little research before you let it slip through your fingers. Alright, here's the bottom line. If you find a 2016 penny with no mint mark, you've got a potential gold mine on your hands. Even if it's not worth $1 million, it could still be worth a lot more than you think. Coin collecting can be a fun hobby, and it's amazing how a little knowledge can turn a simple penny into a small fortune. So, if you want to stay ahead of the game and learn more about coins that could be worth big money, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We've got plenty of tips, tricks, and stories coming your way. You never know. Your next coin could be worth way more than you ever imagined. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep your eyes peeled for those hidden gems in your change jar.